Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. We're going to give it a couple more minutes for some people to funnel in here, and then we will get it started. Thanks for your patience. All right, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to say thank you for everybody that's joined in. Welcome. We're excited to give you some of this information today, and we're even more excited that you took some time out of your busy schedules to join us. Today, we're going to be going over some of the limitations of legacy systems and the rising popularity in SaaS MDM, and some of the things that you might want to consider before making the change for yourself or for your organization. My name is Andrew Jones. I'm a business development representative here at LumenData, and I'm joined today by.
My name is Vinayan Valappil. I'm the VP of Architecture. I come with 20 years of MDM experience with 5 years of product development of legacy systems and 15 years of implementation experience.
And before we get started today, I just want to strongly urge, if there are any questions, please feel free to drop them in the question and answer. We will get to them. We have some time set aside at the end, but we will stop and answer if we need to as we go along. Before we get started, I do also want to give you a quick overview of LumenData as a whole. We were founded in 2008 with a strong focus in data management at our conception. Since then, we've really broadened our horizons. And as we broaden our horizons, we've brought on new centers of excellence built out around the 3 pillars that you see here. Cloud modernization is really the overarching theme of our business, but we do have main focuses in data management and advanced analytics. We have roughly 150 technical and functional consultants that are spread across not only here in the US, but also in our locations in India and Australia. So our team is really poised to be able to help you wherever your team is located and with whatever situation that may arise. I do want to just quickly highlight one of our recent achievements. We recently attended the Informatica sales kickoff. Informatica is one of our large partners. We've been a platinum partner with theirs for coming up on 8 years. It's a crowning achievement for our team, and it also shows the hard work and determination that goes in, not only for our onshore folks, but also for our technical team in India.
So today we're going to walk through the limitations of the legacy MDM systems. Then we're going to walk through the rising popularity of the SaaS MDM. It's a benefit, what is the definition, and the factors that you need to consider before moving legacy MDM to the SaaS MDM. Then we go to the key steps for a successful planning of MDM migration. And what is the LumenData advantage of having LumenData do the migration for you? Then we'll wrap up with one of the real world experience of moving from a legacy to the SaaS MDM migration. So this is our agenda. With that, I'm going to start with the limitations of on-premise systems. As you may all know, that legacy MDM system has been around for a few decades, right? It's been built in approximately 20 years back, and many of the systems has been built using the technology available at that point of time, which perfectly makes sense, right? So the use case around that time is totally different than the use case that available today. For that reason, the technology is kind of obsolete, right? So many of these on-prem MDM system use legacy database, for example. And a lot of these legacy databases, as well as the application servers, web servers it support, does not support the latest and greatest technology, right? So it becomes very difficult to maintain and enhance your on-prem system. So that was one of the key limitations of having an on-prem system, in your landscape. The second biggest thing is the inability to integrate with the modern technology. So as mentioned earlier, the legacy systems are built with the older programming language and frameworks. It does not seamlessly integrate with the modern technology like microservice architecture or new messaging structure, right? The vendor may have given you an ability to connect, but it will not give you the latest and greatest performance and the schema structure, etc. So the inability to integrate with the modern technology is a big drawback, because you won't be able to achieve the efficiency your competitor is having. Okay? So that is the second biggest limitations of having an on-prem MDM systems. The third one is a high maintenance cost. So if you look at the technology framework, you may require hardware to host your RDBMS. You may need hardware to host your application servers, web servers. We have a load balancing, high availability, right? All those require hardware, and it requires maintenance cost to maintain those hardware, whether it's an on-prem or it's been hosted somewhere in the cloud. Moreover, the experts who have been working on this 20 years old technology, as in the technology landscape shift every 2 years or recently every year, the people who support the system also upgrade their technology skill set, and you no longer find people to support your old legacy system. So all this adds up the cost for maintaining your legacy systems. Right. So that's the third biggest limitations of having the on-prem systems. And the fourth one is the security risk. So if you look at last 5-year data breach, happening in the larger enterprises, most of them come from the legacy systems, right? So having a legacy on-prem system which lack robust security features that you find in the modern solution is a very vulnerable to an enterprise today. It's prone to cyber attacks and data breaches. And keep in mind, this is your asset, right? This is your customer data, product data, supplier data. So having an on-prem MDM system is a high prone to security risk. So these are the fourth biggest limitations people are looking to modernize your legacy MDM platform. The fifth one is limited scalability. A legacy system cannot meet the current business requirement because today the business need vertically scalable as well as a horizontally scalable systems, right? Not just MDM, any system. Right? This is because their business keep changing based on their competitor. You may need multiple domains. So adding a new domain and having visibility of all the assets in a single platform is much required. So in that way, the system should be able to vertically scale to add on more domains. Plus, you may have to onboard more data. You may have to use third-party data to enrich. So you should have the hardware to support the single domain itself. So you need to have the horizontal scalability as well. So if you have an on-prem MDM system, both the scalability come with a huge cost. And you may have to disrupt your existing MDM production environment if you want to upgrade your hardware, etc. So these are the 5 key limitations of an on-prem system where the current business owners and stakeholders and business thinking about or currently moving to a modern SaaS-based MDM systems.
So Vinayan, I do have a question here from the audience.
Sure.
They say our team understands the limitations of the legacy MDM and they want to make the move to SaaS MDM. Their challenge is to convince their stakeholders to make the decision. Can you give some tips on maybe how we can convince the organization to make the move or the stakeholders to make the move?
Yeah, this is a great question, and this is a question keep coming from the customers as well. So there are key steps to follow in order to prove to your business stakeholders, why you should move from an on-prem MDM to the SaaS MDM. So we are covering in detail in one of the slides, but I'll give you a quick overview about what should you be doing. So without having a business objective, there is no reason to move from an MDM A to B, right? So having a business objective is key if you want to upgrade to a modern solution. And what steps you need to do that, I will be covering in one of the upcoming slides. So with that, I'm going to the next one. This is about understanding the SaaS MDM. As the name says, this is a software as a service MDM used to manage and govern your master data within an organization. Right? When it comes to SaaS MDM, customer does not need to manage the platform or a hardware as well as software or integration or anything around it. Right? So this is being hosted by the vendor who provide the service. So you don't have to worry about procuring the hardware, installing, upgrading, as well as supporting the upgrades. Right? So all of the services being provided by the SaaS MDM vendor. And all you have to worry about your data, right? How do you efficiently manage and govern your data? So one of the key features of the SaaS MDM provided by Informatica is it comes with a suite of tools which is very necessary to implement and maintain the MDM. So you may be aware of a lot of MDM tool currently in the market, but a lot of this MDM tool have a deficiency without having the subcomponent listed here. So one of the key benefit of SaaS MDM is it comes with the data integration. right? It's a cloud data integration suite, which comes along with SaaS MDM. So as you all know, you have to onboard the data to MDM in order to cleanse and match and consolidate the data, right? So bringing the data to MDM is always a cumbersome task or a resource-intensive task. And a lot of time you may need a third-party ETL tool to bring the data in efficiently, right? So the data integration tool that comes along with SaaS MDM solve the problem. So data integration component comes with hundreds of connector, which connects to the all known ERPs and CRM systems available. And it connects to hundreds of data services. It connects to hundreds of file systems. So overall, right, no matter where your data lies, it has the ability to connect and pull the data in. It has the ability to understand the change within the data, which is called CDC capability, and pull the delta data, right? So if it comes to ETL capability, ETL comes along with the product. And the product has an enterprise grade data quality solution. So when you bring the data, you have to make sure the data is cleansed and standardized, as well as you should have the ability to validate the data in order to make sure the good data comes into MDM. So validation, error handling, standardization, cleansing, all part of the data quality. So the data quality, enterprise grade data quality is part of the suite. And there is a data governance as well along with this product suite. Data governance help you to understand the lineage starting from the source to MDM to the target. Unless you understand the lineage and quality of data from the source to MDM to target, you won't be able to measure the efficiency of your MDM tool. So data governance is very important to measure your quality of data and govern your data, and to prove the value of your MDM. And another feature comes along with this data security. So the data security feature provide you a suite of compliances which current landscape require. So when it comes to the life science industry or healthcare, financial, it all has to go through a level of compliances. So the product has an inbuilt compliance established for the data security reasons. The fifth big pillar of the SaaS MDM is the data analytics. So it has a data analytics dashboard per user. So every user can create their own data analytics to show the insights of your master data, as well as insight of your source data, as well as insight of your data quality, right? So your basic data analytics is solved within the MDM landscape. You may not need an enterprise grade analytical tool if you want to understand your master data. So these are the key common. There are several other features, but I'm just limiting to these 5 features. Any questions?
Another question from the audience here. Yep. So I have a question. Data quality and data governance, are they the same as IDQ and Axon with this?
Oh, okay. So the data quality mentioned here, right? The question is the data quality mentioned here is an IDQ. So IDQ is an on-prem solution from Informatica, which exists for last 15 years or so. So the data quality that comes along with the SaaS MDM is a cloud data quality, which is available within the cloud ecosystem, right? It's nothing to do with the IDQ. Same with the data governance is available in the cloud infrastructure. So if you log into Informatica, so IDMC, you will be able to see all these components available in the cloud. So this is not a on-prem solution, Axon or IDQ. These are all cloud-based solution coming along with Informatica's IDMC platform. Any other questions, Andrew?
None right now. Please proceed.
So let's talk about how do you break the legacy barrier with the SaaS MDM, right? So what are the key benefits or compared to the legacy to the SaaS MDM? So the SaaS MDM solution, right? Keep deployment is one of the key benefit of a SaaS MDM when it comes to the implementation. The reason is it comes with a lot of industry data model. So if you take any industry that you are in, whether it's life science or healthcare or higher education, whether you are mastering a supplier or a product or a customer B2B or B2C, your data model or industry best practice data model comes along with each vertical of SaaS MDM. So this would cover near to 100% of your data model change. So you don't have to scratch your head thinking about data modeling in the beginning of the project, unlike you do for SaaS, legacy MDM. So data model is pre-built. The workflows, which include one-step, two-step match workflows, are out of the box, and a lot of pre-configured templates available for the quick deployment. And on top of it, companies like LumenData has built a lot of accelerator to accelerate the project, which include a lot of point integration from the known sources. Keep in mind, Informatica provide a connector to connect to the system, but on top of it, LumenData has built integration solution which bring the data from many of the known systems to Informatica. So using this all accelerators and templates that LumenData have, the deployment is very quick. So we're not talking about months or years, we're talking about weeks. So that is one of the key benefit when it comes to implementation of SaaS MDM. The second is a greater scalability. So this SaaS MDM allow business to seamlessly scale resource up and down based on the requirement. For example, if you have starting with an MVP with a few hundred thousands of record, and you want to scale to multi-millions or at point of time, right? You don't have to reconfigure anything, right? The system automatically scale up based on your need. Same with the horizontal scale as well. If you want to add more domain, it's all very easy to do it. So the greater scalability is one of the key benefit of SaaS MDM. So when you move from a legacy to SaaS MDM, this feature has become very handy. The third is a seamless data integration. SaaS MDM solution enable organization to connect with the various data source and application, right? Because the DI, which is a cloud data integration, it comes with hundreds of connectors to the known sources, whether it's your ERP solutions, whether it's a CRM, or S3 bucket or Azure blob, any kind of place where typical files are stored or data stored, or any third-party integration like Dun & Bradstreet. It all has the connector, so you don't have to figure out how to connect to a data source. Instead, you should be worrying about your data and managing your data, right? Not about the technology integrations. So the seamless integration is one of the powerful tool in the SaaS MDM. So the enhanced security, right? As you all aware, right? There are a lot of compliances requirement in many industry verticals, including the access control and data encryptions and regulations like GDPR, CCPA, and specific compliances with the life science industries is all been part of this product suite. So enhanced data security is one of the key benefit of having the SaaS MDM. The higher cost effectiveness, right? As you may imagine, right, when you have a legacy MDM, you have a lot of upfront cost of hardware and infrastructure, as well as people to maintain the servers and storage equipments, and this cost will never go away, right? Because you will have requirements and upgrades coming up, and you'll have to keep paying for the software vendor for the database license and application servers, web server licenses. So having a SaaS MDM, you don't have to worry about your infrastructure cost or the people to manage your infrastructure. So higher cost of effectiveness is one of the key benefit of having the SaaS MDM.
So Vinayan, another question from the audience.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's specifically targeted towards quick deployment, and they're curious, what is the quickest MDM implementation that our team has done?
Okay, great question. So the deployment typically varies based on the use case that you're trying to solve. Right? You may have real-time use cases. You may have an operational MDM where there is a change management process involved. But when it comes to a quick deployment with batch use cases, we have done many implementation under 8 weeks.
That is the only question I have right now. Thank you.
So now let's talk about how you move to the SaaS MDM, how you move from legacy to SaaS MDM. So when it comes to when an organization decided they want to move from legacy to SaaS MDM, there are the two ways you can approach it. One is re-implement, and second is the modernization. So re-implementation is when you think your current MDM does not meet the business requirement, right? So you're not looking at just moving your existing MDM or upgrading your existing MDM. You're looking to meet a lot of use cases that your current MDM does not do today. So in that case, you may have to understand what that requirement is and design your system to meet that requirement. That is the reason re-implementation is the best if you want to use new features of an MDM and meet new business requirement. Whereas modernization is simply a tech shift from your existing MDM to the modern MDM. Right? So this is when all the business use case that you have today is met by your legacy MDM. However, there are certain requirements, for example, performance or UI, right? That's not met. So we just want to upgrade your legacy to a modern. So these are the two different implementation strategy that we found that customers are looking at, right? And this, the key question is, what decides re-implement versus modernization, right? It depends on the current MDM landscape. For example, your current MDM landscape does not meet your business requirement, right? That gives you an indication re-implementation is the best way to do it. Your sometimes the technical requirement means your organization have a cloud strategy, right? You want to move all your on-prem to the cloud. You may choose, organization may choose to be on Azure friendly or Google or AWS. In that way, they don't want to move away from all on-prem. So you have a technical requirement which arise a need for you to modernize your MDM. In that way, modernization is the best fit for you. And there are other things which also influence whether you want to do re-implement or modernization. For example, you may still have issues in a current MDM, but your budget does not fit to do a re-implementation, right? Or you may want to face your project where you want to first modernize, then you want to think about re-implement. So the budget and timeline is also consideration, many times whether you want to choose re-implement versus modernization. So we LumenData conduct through all this cycles to understand and help navigate customer to decide whether they should re-implement or modernize. So moving along with this graph will also help you understand when to consider re-implementation and modernization and what it does for you when you re-implement and modernize your MDM. So consider re-implementation if your current system is outdated and can no longer meet organization evolving need. So this is one of the key use cases. A lot of companies move to the SaaS MDM. Right. So when it comes to your current system, you may have a UI, issues. The UI is not user friendly, or you may have a data availability requirement where you want to make your data available in real time for your marketing or for any other use cases. Right. If you have millions and millions of data in your MDM, and the search takes many seconds, right? It affects your user experience. So any of the latest business requirement that is not met by your current MDM, that's why you should consider about re-implementation. Right? And what it does is your existing MDM will be replaced with a new solution which include additional capability or data. Right? So additional capability, like when you have your SaaS MDM, it will have elastic capability of search. So you're looking at a millisecond in the search result when you have millions of data. right? Because you're not going and running query in 20 different tables to fetch a single record, right? You're looking at a single repository, a document-based database to fetch the data. So additional features like this help you to justify your implementation. Additionally, when you re-implement, right, some of the use case may be to bring a third-party data to enrich in real time, right? So adding, if you have a requirement to add data to enrich your existing master data, right, re-implementation may be a good way to look at it. So you have to consider modernization when your current MDM meet your business requirement, but need enhancement to meet dynamic market demand. So search, the faster search is an example. A UI, a better UI is another example, right? So in this case, the new technologies and practice are utilized to upgrade. So you're actually upgrading your current MDM to new MDM. So this has a less change management because your downstream system or your analytical system may not see any visible change, right? Because you're not touching the core pieces of MDM, or you're not introducing any new features on MDM. So this is a less invasive, and it will not change your the landscape of the source and target system a lot. Any question on this, Andrew?
I do. I have one question here from the audience. Are there any additional costs for the integration capabilities that come with MDM?
There is no additional cost for the integration capability, but just keep in mind this integration capability should be only used to bring the data to MDM and take the data from MDM to the source system or target system, right? So if you are using this integration capability to bring the data in or to take the data out, there is no additional cost. But if you are using the integration to move data outside of the MDM, for example, a source to target and not touching MDM, then that's a separate cost. But to your question, there is no cost.
And then a follow-up, how much variation is there between implementation timeline on re-implement versus modernization?
Great question. So, it's very hard to quantify a timeline because every implementation use cases are different. There's analytical MDM, operational MDM, plus volume sources, all depends. However, if you just look at high level, re-implementation has to go through a discovery process to talk to the stakeholders and business SME to understand what key feature they need, which does not provided by the current MDM. While when it comes to modernization, you may avoid you don't have to do the discovery sessions. So that's the time that you may save. It could be any time between 2 to 4 weeks you may save when it comes to modernization. Plus, you may not need the resources that the number of resources that may use for re-implementation compared to modernization.
And that is the only questions I have for now.
Yeah. So these are the key steps to follow. I think there was a question earlier which talks about how do you convince your business stakeholder on MDM migration, right? Why should I move from my current MDM to a new MDM, and how do I convince my stakeholder to move, right? So this slide will give you an insight for that question, right? So unless you have a specific outcome to accomplish, there is no reason for you to move from legacy to SaaS MDM, right? So first is you need to define your objective, right? If you want to upgrade to a new system, you may have the data quality requirement, right? Your current MDM may not provide you an efficient data quality, or even if it provides an efficient data quality, you don't have a way to measure the quality from the source to MDM to target. When you don't have that ability to showcase the value that MDM is providing, then you can't justify the cost that you're putting for an MDM system. Or you may have increased scalability, right? If you want to add new domains, if you want to add more data, you may get stuck with your legacy system, or you want to enhance your tech integration capability. So the important thing is define your objective. You should have a key business objective, which define the reason to upgrade. In many cases, LumenData has helped many customers to do a business assessment. So this business assessment will help you identify the objective for the MDM, right? So within a measurable way. The second step is assess your current MDM landscapes. So when you assess your current MDM landscape, you'll understand what are the data-centric limitations, the limitations which stop you moving forward or compete with your the competitors, right? So your competitors may have a better system, faster system, which help their customers or help their marketing better. So assessing your current MDM landscape and comparing with the best practices the industry follows will also help you identify the key objective that you may want to use. The third is adopt the right approach. So let's say you have identified your objective. You have understood all the deficiency that your current MDM landscape has. Now, how do you establish your roadmap is very important thing, right? Whether you want to do the full migration or you want to have an iterative approach where you take a small piece first or a single domain, or go with an analytical MDM first, then an operational MDM. So adapting the right approach which fits your organization need is very important. Historically, LumenData helps provide a roadmap and a blueprint which helps you with the right approach. The fourth piece is evaluating the potential vendor. Right now, you understood your key objective, you have understood your deficiency of your MDM, and you have a roadmap. The fourth piece is what is the best vendor I should choose for my MDM need. Right? So this is where you basically look at your key objective and see which vendor fits to your landscape based on your data need, based on your data availability, based on your use cases. Right, LumenData as a company will also help you evaluate the potential vendor as well. So these are the 4 steps you need to do when you want to migrate from a legacy to any modern SaaS MDM. Any questions, Andrew, on this side?
Yes, I do. What are some additional tool sets, and do we need to install and run the LumenData Accelerator for this migration factor?
Okay, so for migration, for the steps, what LumenData provide is we have templates which define the objective. We have tool sets to assess your current MDM landscape, and roadmap and blueprint. We do have templates which is reusable in nature, which help you to define those. Right? So with the templates and toolkits, LumenData will be able to efficiently establish your roadmap and blueprint to identify the potential vendor. Okay. So this talks about LumenData Migration Accelerator. So when it comes to migration of legacy MDM to Informatica SaaS MDM, right? You may see 3 layers of data within your legacy MDM, right? You will have the actual master data, which is your customer data, supplier data, product data, and you have your configuration, which is your data model, source systems, and any kind of cleanse role, match role, right? So metadata, and you may have a reference data, which is your lookups, your country, state, address type, etc. So these are the 3 pieces, 3 important data that you may have in your legacy MDM. Right? So LumenData has built a migration accelerator to move this data from legacy to the SaaS MDM. So if you look at the master data, which is very important piece, right? We have built the accelerator using CDI and CDQ, right? So you do not need an additional tool set. The CD and CDQ, which comes along with the SaaS MDM, will connect to your legacy system and pull the data, the required data, whether it's a product, whether it's a customer, B2B or B2C, and establish the data quality and push to the SaaS MDM, right? So, so this is the accelerator, which runs with the push of a button, move your data. The second is the reference data, your lookups, right? Your lookups are managed in your legacy MDM in a database table. When it comes to the reference 360 solution of Informatica, it has the ability to manage lookups within your enterprise. So your MDM may have a canonical structure, which you want to establish in MDM and use for analytical reports, but every source system have its own version of your reference data. So the crosswalk between the system and the MDM are maintained in the reference 360. And we build an accelerator to move your reference data from the legacy to reference 360 with a push of a button. And you don't need any additional tool set to install, no hardware needed. All you got to use is the tools that comes along with the SaaS MDM. In certain cases, customer has a highly configured, highly customized their MDM, right? For example, you may have a customer domain, but you may have added a lot of tables along with the customer to support their business use cases. So in that case, you may also want to migrate your metadata, right? Out of the box, customer 360 SaaS MDM comes with the data model, but due to heavy customization in your legacy MDM landscape, you may want to migrate your metadata. For that reason, we have built a migration utility which migrate your metadata to the cloud MDM, right? In this case, if it is if you have a highly customized data model and you want to establish same data model in cloud customer 360, you can run this utility to move the metadata. So this is our migration accelerator, which speed ups your project, right? This is a reusable assets which can fit to customer B2B, B2C, supplier, product, etc.
I do have a couple more questions here. Do you work with other MDM systems as well, or is it only Informatica?
So, we have done a lot of, as Andrews mentioned, we have done hundreds of MDM implementation, and a big piece of it is migration of MDM A to B. So if you take any modern or legacy MDM, we have done migrations, and we do have reusable assets. So we do migrate from any legacy to any cloud MDM, but this session is very focused on legacy to Informatica cloud. To answer your question, yes, we do.
And then I also have another question. It's about an analytics use case. I have an analytics use case to feed clean data from my data warehouse. Do you work with Snowflake or other such systems?
Great question. So many of our recent implementations, if you take last 2-3 years, 80% of our implementation has to do something to do with the Snowflake, right? So recent days, you can see there is a layer built before MDM and after MDM, right? So if you look at the data lake is the place where the enterprise put the data for analytics. They will have a different version of data, cleansed layer, raw layer. Now they also have a master layer when an MDM comes, right? So MDM may read from your raw layer instead of directly from the source. It cleansed dedupe master and put back to the master layer. So to answer your question, yes, Snowflake is a widely used services in recent days. And LumenData do provide a lot of service around Snowflake, because without Snowflake in the mix, your story is never complete.
Well put. That's all I have for right now. Please proceed.
All right. So let's talk about the LumenData advantage. So one key thing to remember is using the migration factory, using the standardized methodologies and templates and industry best practice. You're looking at a reduced migration time. You're not looking at months. You're looking at weeks. That too with a zero downtime. So when you look at your legacy MDM, which is live in the production and it's operational in nature, right? A downtime is not acceptable when you move to a new SaaS MDM. So we do have done a lot of migration with a zero downtime, and we do have a proven technology cutover plan which make zero downtime established very efficiently. And we proceed with a tailored roadmap. So the step-by-step process and timeline for the migration, where we select the approach between the re-implementation and modernization will also help you towards the right approach. So the 4 steps process that we explained earlier will help you define the roadmap and blueprint. That is one of the key benefits that you get from LumenData. The third is a perform effective change management. So change management is a very important piece when you migrate from legacy to SaaS MDM, because your data is going to get changed. When it comes to SaaS MDM, you may have more efficiency in your data quality, more efficiency in your consolidation, which affect your downstream system, right? When you have a more merged record, for example, right, your downstream CRM may get affected. So understanding what change is coming, actively engaging the stakeholders and users, and communicate them about the changes for the adoption is very, very important. So LumenData do make sure we effectively handle the change management when it comes to an operation MDM. So the fourth piece is the post-migration support. As you may know, the SaaS MDM have monthly upgrades coming in. So this monthly upgrades give you a lot of new features. It does continuously improve the efficiency of the tool itself. So you would need a good system integrator to understand and help you use all the latest features that come in the product. So we do help in the post-migration support as well. Any question?
I do. I have another one here from the audience. How about maintenance of my MDM and cloud data quality systems? Do you offer a service for that also?
Yes, I believe the question is about the SaaS MDM or legacy, right? So let's say if it is a SaaS MDM, that is what this slide talks about. So we give the post-migration support. Post-migration support is very important compared to how you support your legacy. So your legacy system, you just have to maintain the current system, right? But when it comes to SaaS MDM, it comes with a lot of new features, new survivorship rule, new match rules get introduced every few months. And if you want to make use of the latest and greatest features, you need a thought leadership help from an SI who is, very good at it. So that is what we give you the post-migration support. A thought leadership is included as a part of our post-migration support.
And then a follow-up, how big is a typical MDM migration team from LumenData?
So it depends based on what you're trying to do, right? So let's say, it's a hard question because there are customers who have more than 100 million records with a lot of systems. There are customers with a few million records with a few systems. So I'll take both examples, right? Let's say you have 3 or 4 systems and you're looking at a batch data integration, and your volume is not more than few million. You may be looking at 2 or 3 technical resources to do the work. Plus you need an architect and a part-time PM. So that's how the number of team, because LumenData has done this over and over. We have done more than 20 SaaS MDM implementations. So we do gain a lot of efficiency, and we may not need a bigger team to do this. And that is key for migration. Any more questions?
I do have one last one. Does LumenData provide migration roadmap with business value assessments?
We do provide. So a lot of large customers have, we have helped them to identify. They do want to move from legacy to SaaS MDM, and they do have certain use cases, but they want a roadmap, including change management, including the change the source going to have in a measurable way, right? So this is needed to get the approval of budget in some cases, right? So we do provide business value assessment and a roadmap and blueprint to help the stakeholder get the project approved.
Fantastic. Those are all the questions that I have from my end.
Okay, thank you. So this is our last one. We talk about a customer success story. So as a leading, the manufacturing company uses Informatica suite. They migrated, the customer 360, supplier 360, and product 360. So they have, across the three product suite landscape, they have a lot of challenge. So one of the key thing is, this is a global company, and the data stewards and data owners are spread across the globe. So the front end is not very easy to use, right? There is a complaint from all over the world about the usage, and the legacy MDM vendor is not able to meet their requirements. So that is one of the key challenge. The second is the global data model requirement, right? So when your MDM is global in nature, right, this is very specific to supplier. So there are certain countries where your supplier, so bank and tax are stored on the supplier header, but in certain countries, the bank, tax, site address, location, all are stored in a site level, right? So this is because you're getting a conflicting requirement from different countries, and how do you meet that in your data model is a key question. So when it comes to legacy data model, which is a relational database model, it's very hard to solve this problem, right? So that is one of the reasons they want to stay away from legacy and look at modern MDM. Diversified requirement from multiple stakeholders. This is very common, right? So you may start your project for one business unit, and they have a specific requirement. And when you onboard new set of data from a different, for marketing or a different, business unit, you may get a diversified requirement. How do you maintain and manage it, right? So this is again a hard to solve problem in an MDM landscape, no matter which tool you use, but it's hard in legacy compared to SaaS MDM. So another is a limited visibility to end-to-end data flow, right? So if you look at the MDM data flow landscape, you are moving data from the source system to the integration layer, to MDM, again to integration, to your target, right? So when you flow the data to end, right, there is no visible tool to show the lineage across this integration framework, right? So how do you measure a data specific? We take an example of a name or a date, right? How does it change, and which layer got changed is very hard to understand if you don't have a lineage established across this. So SaaS MDM provide the data lineage and data governance capability as well. So that is one of the key reasons this customer want to look at. Absence of workflow management is one of the another reason. So data availability requirements to be in business need, right? So this is very specific to available of data in real time for the marketing use cases, for the UI search use cases, in some cases, search before create use cases, right? When you have many millions of record, right, your legacy MDM may have to run a query on 20 different tables to fetch a single record, right? That is an inefficient way in the modern environment. So the data availability requirement does not meet their business need. They have to migrate to a modern MDM. Few other things are inability for a data catalog to manage metadata, right? Again, the metadata and data governance is very, very, very important in an MDM to show the value and to show the lineage. So without that, you may not be able to show value of having an MDM. The absence of single point of reference for enterprise data is another key thing. With the legacy, there is no concept of reference 360, right? But with a modern MDM, SaaS MDM, it has a reference 360, which manage your enterprise lookups in a single point, right? This is a standalone tool, and your source system can refer to this reference 360, through API or batch. So that gives you a greater ability to maintain and manage your reference 360 data. So the solution include product 360, customer 360, and supply 360 domain. So we have migrated the legacy MDM data, established data quality standardization to improve the quality. And we also applied an additional match rule to further dedupe the data. So the key benefit is they have a modernized data platform, which enable faster governed access of data, which is more accurate and complete, and it helps multiple stakeholders and groups. So with that, we can get into a Q&A session. Andrew, what are the questions we have?
Yeah. Absolutely. So if any of you have any other questions, I know we've been kind of answering them as we go here. Please feel free to drop them in the question and answer section, and we will get to them and answer them as soon as possible. I also know we are almost at time here. We only have about 5 minutes left. If there is something that we haven't covered today, or you think that there is a need for your company, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Vinayan, or reach out to us on our contact us page on the website, and we'd be happy to reach out, set up a meeting, and really get the ball rolling to decide what LumenData could offer for your company. I'm not seeing any other questions roll in right now. I'll give it a couple more minutes. But to those of you that are going to drop off, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with myself and Vinayan, and learning up on some legacy to MDM SaaS. We appreciate it. We do have another question here. Will a recording of the session be available later? Yes, we will be sending out the recordings at the close of this webinar. It may take a couple minutes, but you should be able to go back and check the recordings in the future. All right. I'm going to take it as that there are no other questions. Again, we appreciate you guys joining today. We appreciate all of your taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us and brush up on some of the stuff that's been changing with the ecosystem. And we hope you have a great rest of your week. And we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you so much, everyone.